Hi guys, welcome back on my channel. You are watching the Stories of IT and my name is Shubham. So the year is about to end and this video is about the books which I have read in this year. There are not many books, but I thought in the initial time of the year that I will read one book for every month. Do have one book and more than one book for every month, but because of some issues I was unable to read them. I made a resolution that I will read one book for every month. I did not completed that for sure, but there were few books which I have read were very thick, so I will consider that as a win. And this video is about me talking about those books which I have read and the remaining one which I will be reading in 2020 and my thoughts about those books. The very first book which I want to talk about, book number 1, is going to be The Girl in Room 105 by Chetan Bhagat. So I have been reading the books of Chetan Bhagat from a very long time, and this was the latest book released by him. In previously he has written some of the very nice book like I really like 5 Point Someone and also Half Girlfriend, but this book was not as good for me. I didn't like that this book very much, but still I will give you a preview or my thoughts in a very short manner about this book. This book is about a girl who is studying in some college in Delhi, and the story is basically revolving around her life and how she basically get in love with a boy, and they are trying to unlove that particular girl. So I didn't like this book very much because currently I am not my taste regarding in the reading is not love stories or books written by Chetan Bhagat, because now I think that I have become a sort of reader who wants to read books related with more with factual stories. I'm not a very good fond of fictional stories, and I don't know is this going to be a real story or not, because in most of his books Chetan Bhagat always consider him in a particular scenario like traveling to somewhere or talking to someone, and then that particular boy or that particular person tell him the story, and he write that story in his and publish that particular book in and publish that in the book. So that's all about this book. I don't like that book, but still I will consider it as a read. Now the second one book which I want to talk about here, that is my Experiment with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi. Now these books are not in or in their yearly order that I purchased this one, then I this one, then this one. No, it's not like that. It just I have made a list, and these books which I have read. Some of them I have read and some of them which I have not. So this is a list of all of them. So the second one book, My Experiment with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi, I am just about to end that book. It's a couple of pages are remaining. That book is of course written by our the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and it's about his experiments with truth. Literally his experiment with truth. He's fasting a lot, he's doing lots of experiment in his medical understanding, and he's trying to figure out what's the best way to live life with least amount of money, least amount of environmental pollution, or least amount of others getting bothered because of our lives. So this book is about that. Now the third book which we are talking about is The Republic by Plato. I have not read this book at all. This book I got that book, and that book still is there out in my box at my home. So I know something about Plato, but I do not know what kind of writer he is and what kind of content is in The Republic, but it is something related with a nation. So when I will get that, then I will read this book in 2020. The next book which we are going to talk about, our book number 4, is Devil's Advocate: The Untold Story by Karan Thapar. This book I have read in 2019, and this book is about very famous celebrities from Pakistan and India, and of course Karan Thapar. Karan Thapar is a very renowned advocate or a journalist, I would say, not advocate, and he has worked with some of the very famous newspapers and TV and news channel shows. And this is a story about his experiences with many of the renowned politicians and cricketers and film stars. So there are in this book you will find out many of the incidents, many of the untold facts about about Amitabh Bachchan, about Narendra Modi ji, and about Benazir Bhutto, about Lal Krishna Advani ji. And there are so many good incidents about his personal life also, as when he was living in another countries and working with editorials and working with other news channels, then how he came to know about all the situations and about these politicians. And there are very nice information about very nice information given in this book about these politicians, which you will not find anywhere else. So do check that book if you like in this particular, if you like reading in this particular category. Now the fifth book which we are here talk about is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Now this book I started reading, but this is more like a French book, I would say, and the writing of this book was a bit difficult for me to understand, so I stopped it in the midway and I moved on. Hopefully I will again get in touch with this book in the 2020, and I will finish it. And when I will finish it, and when I will understand that what kind of content is given in this book, then I will definitely share this with you guys.
So the next book, book number 6, which we are going to talk about, is The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Now at the first time when I recorded the video, I had a different book in my mind. The name of that book is the Man in Search of Meaning, and this book, The Old Man and the Sea, is a different book. And let's talk about this book because I have given information about the wrong book. So this book, The Old Man and the Sea, is about a fisherman who usually go for fishing on the sea, and he catches a very big fish. And in this whole book he is explaining how he towed away, how the boat of that old man was towed away by the fish. And he basically had to spend so much time in the sea with that fish, in the hope that some day or sometime the fish will give itself up, and he will be able to catch that fish. Now it's not just very simple, because I do not know it's a fictional work or it's a real story, but basically this is a story of a fight between the old man, the livelihood of the old man, and the sea. The sea does not want to give its species like fish or its material to the old man so easily, and the old man was suffering from many other problems, and he didn't want it to give up his particular catch so easily. So they both are fighting with each other, and at the end the sea wins, because for about 4 to 5 days this whole story goes in the book. And the old man finally catches the fish, but ultimately he was very far from the shore, and in the time of returning he basically loses his fish to the sharks. So this is a really nice book, and let's move to our next one.
So the seventh book which we are going to talk about is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now, so there is a movie made on this particular book. So I watched that movie in 2016 or 2015. I didn't know about that, so I ordered when I come to know that there was a book, I ordered it, and I would say the book is better than the movie, because the experiment, the experiences and the things which you come to know in writing are better. So it's basically written by John Green. Now let's talk more about John Green. John Green is a very influential person, and you must check out some of his courses on Crash Course. They are really interesting and really informative, and he has done a whole series on world history and history of America. So if you are a history person, then definitely John Green is the guy for you. Now the eighth book which we are talking about is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I don't know how to pronounce that word, so I will write that it is F. Scott. So this book, again, I do not know anything about this book, and this I will give it a try in 2020, and hope so it turn out to be good, because it's related something with a story of two persons. I do not know much about it, so I will hope seeing this book again back in again in the future 2020, and I will read that, and I will share my information regarding this book in the upcoming future. Now now we are on the ninth book. The ninth book which we are talking about is 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. I have read two books by Paulo Coelho. One was Adultery, and another one was my favorite, The Alchemist. So this one is again one of the earliest releases by him, but I did not read this book in 2019. In 2020 I will get back to it, and I will share my information, share my experience regarding this book very soon in the upcoming future. Now the 10th book which we are going to talk about is Mein Kampf by Hitler. So I am currently reading this book, and I am about 40-45 pages in this particular book. So a long way to go, and still I have given some impressions about this book in my previous videos. So there is not much to know about this, because it's a very controversial topic, and the facts given in this book related with world wars, related with how Hitler was very angry with whatever was going on at that time with these two countries, between the two countries, and why he became a dictator and things like that. So these are very confidential and very not confidential. I would say these are very disturbing topics to some people. So I first want to clarify my knowledge and get the full information about this particular area of Adolf Hitler and of his time. So I'm reading that book, and when I will finish that, then I will compile my thoughts and make a video, so that you guys can also come to know about that particular book. Now the 11th book which we are going to talk about is The Discovery of India by Jawaharlal Nehru. This book I have just got it couple of weeks back. So this is a book from a set which I have talked about in 2017, in the August of 2017. In August, or I would say in 2018, in the August or September time of 2018, I talk about a set of books in which there were three books. First one was Glimpse of World History, second one was Discovery of India by Jawaharlal, and third one was Autobiography of Jawaharlal. These three books were there. I have read one of them. That's going to be the next one. That is going to be our 12th book, that is The Glimpse of World History by Jawaharlal Nehru. So the 11th number of books, The Discovery of India by Jawaharlal Nehru, I got it in couple of weeks back. So again, I do not have much time to finish that book in this year. So in 2020 I will be reading this book. And let's talk about next book number 12 is The Glimpse of World History. This book is the one why I was not able to finish my other books, because this book is over 1300 pages, and I was so deeply in love with this book that I forgot about all of them. I was just focusing to finishing up this particular book, The Glimpse of World History, and I finished it. Couple of hundred pages I would say are remaining, and that this book is still holding up at my home. When I will go home and I will finish that, and I'll definitely make a separate video for this particular book, about half an hour, because there are so many things to talk about and so many great information to learn. So I will definitely check, and definitely you should check that video. In the future I will upload that very soon. Now the last book which we are going to talk about is our book number 13 is Ramayana versus Mahabharata by Devdutt Patnaik. This book I ordered for my traveling purpose because whenever I travel I need a book to read, and most of the books which I have, they are very thick ones. So this is a very short one, a very handy one book, and a very good information is given in this book. I am halfway through it, and definitely in a couple of weeks I will finish this book, and in the next video will be about this particular book, because Ramayana and Mahabharata are two epic two epics of our time, of our India. And in this book the writer has compared the events happening in these two time, and how Ramayana and Mahabharata are better, and in their own particular area. So these were the 13 books which I have ordered, or some of them I have read in this 2019. If I summarize my experience of reading in 2019, then I would say that that was not as good as in 2019, because in 2018, because I have read a lot of books in 2018, but my reading was reduced way low in 2019. So I will try to keep that pace going on which I had in 2018 in 2020, and I will try to read one book every month in 2020, because until I finish this resolution I am not going to make another one regarding my working with the books. I love reading and I want to carry on reading in the upcoming years also. So keep reading if you are a reader, and if you like my content, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. I normally make book review videos, but also if there are any projects which I am working on, then I definitely like to share them so that everyone can get the benefits of that. And if you have any question regarding the books which I own, or regarding the pricing, regarding the content, then you can comment down below. I will try to reply them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.